Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco, here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I have a normal episode for you where I want to go over my finished objects, as well as one work in progress and some plans and acquisitions at the end. Before we get into all of that though, I also want to say a big thank you to everybody who's joined our Flower Power Mal, and the make-along is still going until the end of July. And Christy's already chosen for her part of the giveaway. Congratulations to the winner. However, I haven't chosen for mine, which I'll draw on the 31st, so you still have plenty of time to join. And in order to enter this giveaway, you have to make a post on Instagram so that it doesn't get lost. I know that Instagram stories go for 24 hours and sometimes we don't catch it in time, so it's best if you create an Instagram post or a reel and you tag both Christy at Mamie Grace Designs and me using the hashtag FlowerPowerMal. It's a very low-key make-along where you can make anything. You can knit, crochet, do art, do embroidery, cross-stitch, anything that you would like to do. So that has to do with art in general. It's really up to you of what you do. WIPs are welcome. You don't need to finish your project or anything like that. It's just having fun and having a sense of community. And if you would like to join our group chat, please also let me know and I could definitely add you to our group chat on Instagram. During our Flower Power Mile, Chrissy and I decided we would have two giveaways, one in the middle, which already happened on July 15th, and one at the end of July, July 31st. And so I still haven't drawn the winner and I'm still gathering everything that I want to send out, but I want to give a preview of what I will be giving away. So if you've seen the Do I Use All the Yarn I Buy video, this won't be a surprise, but I'll be giving away this shop ball, Zauberball Crazy. All of this is going to one person, internationally, domestically, doesn't matter. This is shop ball, Zauberball Crazy in the color Grün Wash. As well as, so I have a green and I also have some pinks so that you could either do some color work or do something floral related if you'd like with these three yarns, or you could do something completely different and use them all in separate projects. That's completely up to you, but I wanted to kind of put in some of that floral in there. And this is Sandscarn Tin Silk Mohair in the color 4813. It's a beautiful pink, as well as Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the color Rose. And I like that this is named Rose and it fits in perfectly with our Flower Power Mal. So these three will go into the giveaway, as well as the Pacific Knit Co. Garden Doodle card deck. And this is a portable colorwork stitch dictionary with all of these motifs. There was a spring doodle basic deck, but I like this garden doodle deck better, so I chose to get this. I got this when I went to Yarn Dragon, their factory store opening, with my friend Maddie and June, and so I decided to pick this up to include in the giveaway. So these are the four things that will be in the giveaway for sure. I think that in this bundle I might add some needle stoppers or add some additional stitch markers and things, progress keepers, so you have that to look forward to. And again, if you would like a chance to win, then you'd have to join our giveaway, and the details of that will be down in the description. Now that the giveaway prizes are covered, let's go over what I'm currently wearing and my first finished object I'd like to share. This is the Sardine Sweater by Sweater Weather Ceramics. I made this in the size C, which is the third size, and I made it with no optional bust shaping, which is also included in the garment. And for mine, I was on gauge, so I just followed the instructions, and I made it with a US 6, a 4mm needle, but I did go down one additional needle size for the ribbing, so I made that with a US 4, a 3.5mm needle instead of the recommended 3.75. The yarn I used for the sweater are these two, and this is Cascade Yarns Noble Cotton in the color 61 Deep Sea Coral, and it's this really pretty red corally orange color, red-orange coral color. And the white I used is this Queensland Collection Coastal Cotton, and it's in the color Vanilla, and it's just this white color. I decided to get this instead of using the Pearl Soho Buttercup Cotton like I said I would in the plans portion of last sit down video, because I would have had to hold this double because it's a fingering weight compared to the worsted weight of the cotton yarn for the Noble Cotton, and I didn't have enough of the Buttercup Cotton after doing some math. So I decided to go to Tea Cozy Yarn Shop and I bought this Queensland Collection Coastal Cotton. Because it's 100% cotton yarn, this was also quite affordable. It was around $8.50, I think, for 100 grams. And so that's really nice about summer fabrics, is that they are very affordable compared to wool. And the Noble Cotton from Cascade Yarns, I got at Needle and Hooks during the Puget Sound LYS tour. And I'm pretty sure this was also under $10, maybe $8.50. $8.50 or $9. So I'm really happy that I was able to get an entire garment for I think less than $30, or maybe just above $30, less than $40, maybe around 35. I'm not sure, but it was overall an inexpensive garment compared to I think some of the other sweaters that I make. And so I was very happy with the value that these yarns provided. So the sweater is very size inclusive in that it goes all the way up to a 72.5-inch bust with an recommended ease of 2 to 6 inches of positive ease. And it also has optional bust shaping. I didn't need the optional bust shaping because they recommend that you have 2 or more inches between your full bust and your under or upper chest circumference measurements to go with that optional bust shaping, or else you would just have more fabric down here and it would hang, your front would hang lower than your back. So I didn't need it, but if you do need it, then it's there, and I think it's a great option to have that. I also do have a project vlog on the sweater, so if you are interested in more of the process and the details that go into the sweater than what I talk about here, then you're also welcome to watch that, and I'll definitely have it linked in the description as well. As you can see, the sardine sweater is very striking. The color work is large and the motifs are large and they span down quite a few rows. It is a round yoke sweater, so you're not purling back and forth on many things except for when you do some of the short rows. And then the back to raise the back a little bit, but that's at the beginning before all the color work. If this is your first color work project, I definitely don't recommend this pattern to you. I think that maybe another pattern would be better suited to know how long, or to just get in the rhythm of doing color work. However, I would say that this is a really fun project for anybody wanting to try the ladder back jacquard method. The designer has put in areas where you should add in your ladder back jacquard, so that makes it pretty easily. But ladder back jacquard as a method also isn't very mindless because you have stitches and you're creating a double fabric for these stitches for your floats to go in. So you're doing some purling for that and then you're knitting your regular right side. It makes it sound more complicated than it is, but it's also a really great technique. Not one that I would choose over just trapping floats on a regular project, but for something like this, it definitely makes sense. I also have a clip at the end of this project video where I show you the ladder back jacquard where I wear it inside out. And so I will try to put it as a footage here. I think I deleted the footage off of my drive, but I will try to put in the footage here so that you can see what it looks like, what ladder back jacquard generally looks like when you do see it. And if you would like to learn more about it, then I definitely recommend watching that project vlog. I first saw this sweater when my friend Kat from Salmon Knits, she came to Knit Night. She was working on the sweater as a test knit and I loved her color selection. I loved her version. And then Maddie at 5 Thread Knits, she also came over and she was also working on the sweater. And I think that's what really influenced me on it, were my two friends just working on it. And I decided that I really want something fun as well. And I'm really happy I knit this. I really enjoy the look of it. I can say that because it is a worsted weight garment, it is double layered because of the floats and the color work. It is quite warm. We've been having quite a warm stretch here in Seattle, and wearing it right now, it does feel quite warm. However, all the other days it should be fine. I think 95% of the year this is fine to wear in Seattle. Even during the winter, it doesn't get too cold. But because it is a short sleeve and because it is a double layered worsted weight garment, I think that there are some transitional times where I would choose to wear it more than others. So while I do color work, I always make sure to keep my floats long so that I don't have puckering. And I think even in this garment, it turned out well, and I don't think I have any obvious puckering. Nothing feels very tight in terms of color work. However, I do have to say that because I used a plant-based yarn, 100% cotton yarn, you can see where all of the increases happened, and anywhere where there's a little bit of uneven tension, you can definitely see in the garment. It doesn't really bother me because I feel like it kind of adds to the handmade kind of aspect of this garment. However, it is something that I do notice, and it's not as invisible as it would be if you were to use a 100% wool or even mohair with this garment. There is a long sleeve version, so I think even if you were to knit this for the fall and winter, it could be very fun as well. So for my contrast color, I only needed maybe 60-70% of one ball of the 100 grams. And for my main color, I needed 2.5 balls, so it didn't take too long. And once I was done the color work, it knit up super quickly. I think that knitting in the round on US 6 on 4mm needles with a worsted weight cotton just went by so quickly. And another point that I love is that the sun lines up in the middle of the front and the fish lines up in the middle of the back. So I'll stand up and show you what it looks like close up. So this is what it looks like. This is the length on me, and I really enjoy how the fish is in the back. Overall, if you are comfortable with color work and you want to knit this, I would definitely recommend knitting it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't knit it if you are not as comfortable with color work. I'm just saying that you might want to be a little more cautious, or if you have other color work projects in your queue that have fewer stitches in between each of the motifs, then maybe go with those first and then knit this when you are more comfortable with color work. Overall, I think that this is a great pattern and I would highly recommend it. My next finished object is the Stockholm Slipover V-neck by Petite Knit, and this I made in a size medium with the recommended needle size, which is a US 7, a 4.5mm needle for the body, as well as a US 4, a 3.5mm needle for the ribbing. And this is also a project where I created a project vlog of, so I'll have that link below as well. For this, the yarn I used is Durham Natura Antigone in the color Graphite, and this is 100% linen yarn. I think before I said it was 4 plies of linens plied together, but actually it's 8 really thin plies, and they're all plied together, or they're plied in 2, so it's 4 strands and then the 4 strands are plied together. However, when you're knitting with it, I find that it doesn't split at all. That though, it does have a lot of lint and a lot of plant fibers just floating around in my project bag, as well as just wherever I was knitting with it. I could see some dust everywhere, so that's something to be cautious of if you are knitting with this yarn. I talked about this before, but how this project came about is that my mom, I made her the home cardigan with the same Durham Natura Antigone yarn, and I only had the Graphite at the time. I bought this yarn last year, but she wanted something in a lighter color for her cardigan, so I made that in the color Mistral. And then after thinking about it, after being here, after wearing the home cardigan, she really likes it, and I've seen her wear it multiple times. She said that she's looking for something a little more like a V-neck slipover, a plain slipover as well, that she could wear over things like t-shirts. And so when I told her I had only the Graphite color, she said that she wanted a slipover in the Graphite linen yarn. The Stockholm Slipover V-neck is not meant to be knit with a linen yarn. It's meant to be knit with a fingering weight held with a lace silk mohair together, and to have this fluffy, nice texture. And this texture is nice too, it's just different. I knitted it completely in the opposite direction. One would be winter, this one is completely summer. And because it is on a loose gauge, it is kind of see-through. I'm not sure if you can see my body through it. Probably wearing black wasn't the best choice for this video. However, I do try it on over a white t-shirt in the video you'll see up here, and so I think you'll be able to see it a little better. And I really like how it turned out. This garment isn't meant for a summer fabric. I think the fit on me is slightly different than what you would find if you were to make this with a wool yarn. First would be that the ribbing isn't as cinched in as it would be on a more on a fabric that has more memory and has more cling to each other, especially if you're using a silk mohair. For example, my ribbing did stretch out a lot with blocking, and that's not because I stretched it and I hung it up to dry, so that may have had to do it a little bit with gravity, but mostly it's because of that summer fabric. It doesn't really hold on to each other, which means that my underarm is very dropped, even though I picked up way fewer stitches, 25% less fewer stitches than what is recommended in the pattern. For the V-neck, I picked up 1 stitch per row as recommended in the pattern, and the same was recommended for the armholes. However, I picked up 3 out of 4 for the armholes. And before I blocked it, I thought there was some puckering in the panel area, but it seems like that completely disappeared. However, the garment did stretch out, and now it's quite long, which is perfect for my mom because it's what she wanted. I'll stand up so you can see it close up. So this is what it looks like close up. There is some natural scoop thing happening, and that's not because of anything. Maybe it has to do with the way I blocked it, but I just hung it to dry as I said. I think maybe there is just more weight here and it just has dried longer in the back, but it's perfect for what she wants. It is a really nice, lightweight, really loose drapey fabric, which is also really nice for the summer. I don't think she's using this to keep her warm. She says she wants to wear it golfing, and she just wants to wear it when she goes around town, probably with the same outfit that I have on right now. And so I'm happy that she thinks she'll be able to get a lot of wears out of it. I've given my mom my couture top, and she's worn that multiple times since I've given it to her a week ago. And so I think that she'll be able to get a lot of good wears out of a garment that she's requested. The pattern was easy to follow, well written. I didn't have any issues with the pattern, and knitting it, I didn't really have any issues on that, even that larger gauge of US 7 4.5 millimeter needle. However, I did notice that it wasn't an object or a project that I wanted to continuously pick back up and continue knitting, because it wasn't as fun or comfortable on the hands. And I think that just has to do with the fact that it was 100% linen yarn, and also the fact that before you block it, it does seem a little uneven in the tension, but after it's blocked, I think all the stitches just ended up lining up perfectly. Another thing I want to point out is that you can see where I had to join in my second ball of yarn on the body, but it doesn't really bother me when it's on the, because it's on the side, and also because it's so close against the body. However, when I do wear something white or lighter under it, I can see it a little bit better. And I think that because I'm weaving in ends, even if I try to be more discreet, which I did try to be quite discreet about it, it is pretty obvious where it's woven in, just because the fabric is so light. I didn't make any modifications to this pattern other than to make the ribbing maybe a couple rows shorter on the armholes, but that's it, and everything else I kept exactly the same. If I was to make this slipover again in a summer yarn, then I would definitely make the v-neck a little more shallow, just knowing that it will stretch out and drop a lot with blocking. I'm so happy that I was able to use this yarn, as it wasn't a priority for me to use the yarn, or it wasn't a part of my priority knitting plans for the summer. And so I'm really happy that I was able to use it and that she will enjoy this garment. And now I'd like to share my third and my final finished object, and that is Gnoodles for July. And my Gnoodles this month is a little more whimsical and has also some flowers. So first I used the Coats & Co floral palette pack, and it was just a pack of 20, I think there were 20 skeins of 10-gram minis, and they were all caked up already. And so it was perfect for me because I'm holding the yarns double on a US 3.25 millimeter needle to get the size I want. And I love how it turned out. The colors are so cute. So for the hat, I used just a slight gray. I have no clue what these color names are. And for the body, I microstripe, but you can barely see it because the contrast is so low. However, if you see the arms, then the arms are the different colors. So it's a lighter pink and more of a mauvey pink. And with this Gnoodles, I decided to add in some flower embroidery, and so I did that for our floral power mount, and because I love flowers in general. And I was thinking, oh, what do these flowers look like? Because I've seen these flowers, but if they were purple, I would say they're more like lavenders. I think these flowers are very much like snapdragons, and I love those flowers, so it's perfect. And the hat, I wanted to put in some clouds, so I did put in some blue yarn. And when I asked my sister what it looked like, she just said it kind of just looks lumpy, and so she's very honest. And so I decided to put in a small rainbow so that they do look more like clouds, and I think it came out super cute, and I'm so happy with the way this one turned out. So if you compare it to my previous Gnoodles that I made with US 4 3.5 millimeter needles, because this yarn was thicker, this is a Hazel Knits Artisan Sock Base, you can see that this month's Noodle is a lot smaller because the yarn is thinner, but it has the same number of stitches. So I'm thinking if you hold a worsted weight double or make it with a bulky yarn, you could probably get a very sizable Noodles if that's what you choose to do. However, I'm really happy with how these look and how they look behind me, and I'm also very excited to be gifting them at the end of this year. From Noodles, we'll now transition into works in progress, and I have one work in progress, and it has to do with the Flower Power Mall as well, and they are these socks, or only one sock so far. I just started this a couple days ago, and this is the Wildflower Blooms sock by Michelle Frazetta. And in my previous video, I said that I wanted to make the Wildflower Blooms cowl by Michelle for this Flower Power Mall. However, Michelle has started her Wildflower Bloom sock. I can't pronounce anything correctly right now, but she started her sock and I saw it and I was like, oh, I really want to make those socks as well. So I purchased the pattern and I'm making it now, and it's so beautiful. I thought that the yarn might be a little too busy because sometimes the contrast isn't too great from the white. I'm liking how it's looking right now, where it kind of looks retro, kind of looks vintage, kind of looks like a blob, but also you can see the flowers. And so I'm really happy with how they're turning out. I did the shadow wrap heel with the main color, and then I'll continue down the sock and I'll make the next sock exactly the same. I am using the 64 stitch version, which is the second size, and I am also using US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. However, if I had 2 millimeter needles in 9-inch circulars, I'd probably use those because my color work is quite loose. However, I have the 2.25, so I'm just using those and I think it'll fit fine. And my color work tension is quite loose. It is looking pretty lumpy right now. I am catching all of my floats every 4 to 5 floats as recommended in the pattern. When they block out, it should look a lot better than they look now. The white yarn I'm using is the Plymouth Yarns Dye For Me Happy Feet, and this is a 90-10 yarn, and so I think I wasn't sure how it would turn out in this pair of socks with this because the other yarn I'm using is 75-25, but I think that's probably has to do more with wear than with the actual ply itself. The yarn, I'm not very good at winding up yarn, so it's kind of twisted, and I think I want to get to a point where all of this is gone and it becomes more of a clean cake to pull from. The main color is what is super exciting, and this is Junie and Sai yarn, and this is just their fingering sock weight yarn, 462 yards for 100 grams, so a little on the thinner side. It is a 3-ply, 75% superwash, 25% nylon yarn, and this is called Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. And this was the yarn dyed for Tea Cozy Yarn Shop's 1-year anniversary of Emily owning Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. And this is based on the mural that Emily's kids were in front of in Ballard. It's a huge mural with a whale on it. And I think the artist for the mural is, her Instagram handle is @179. It has 17 and 9 in it, but I'm not sure if those are the orders. If that is the order. The yarn was so beautiful in the skein and caked up. It's really fun to look at, and as I'm working with it, it's also just really fun. I think as a plain sock, it would also have been very fun, but I am really excited that I'm able to add in some florals into the sock and colorwork socks. These are going by so quickly for me. I'm just loving every minute of working on this. Tea Cozy Yarn Shop also does an annual sock make along, and that's happening 7/9 to 9/7, so July 9th to September 7th, and I think the hashtag is Tea Cozy Sock MAL, but I will definitely have it on the screen what the correct hashtag is if you would like to join this sock make along. I will also have some details of the Tea Cozy Sock make along linked in the description, as I'm not 100% clear of all of the details, but I'm pretty sure all you have to do is make a sock, hand knit a pair of, or crochet a pair of socks within that time frames from July 9th to September 7th, which is quite a nice wide range. I have one more work in progress, and this section I'm going to clip in because I completely forgot about it until now, but I am working on my Dagmar jacket. I'm done the back panel and I have to do the front 2 panels, and Maddie and I have a plan where we're going to finish the front 2 panels and join in the round by the end of this month, by end of July, and then my hope is that the Dagmar jacket will be completed by end of August. There's a whole plan that I'm trying to go through with her to get it done by then. But I'm done the back panel in size medium, and I wanted to show you it compared to the extra small that I had. So this is a size 4 compared to the size 2. So everything about it is the same. The patterning is the same. You just do some more increases and then you work down from there. So it's only the moss stitch that is different. And if you can see, this is how much is different. And I think that having that 1 inch of width on each side and then from the front to the back, that will add maybe 4 inches. And so it'll definitely make it a roomier sweater. I didn't make the depth any longer because I think that it will stretch out. I haven't blocked the one that I've just done, so it is slightly longer, but just doesn't show because I steam blocked the original one that I've done, the original back panel I've done, compared to the non-blocked size medium back panel that I just completed. So I think that the depth will be fine. It's done exactly to the pattern, but I just wanted to show you that I am making some progress on my Dagmar jacket. And working on a larger project like a cable jacket with a friend is really nice because I feel like we have milestones of when we want to hit certain objects by. I think Maddie is a little less confident on if she can hit these deadlines, and they aren't true deadlines. I mean, it's knitting, it's a hobby, it's for fun. The moment it stops being fun, you know, that's when I think we've lost the plot. But at the same time, it's really nice just going through it with a friend. So I'm happy to be doing this with Maddie. So those are all my finished objects and my works in progress. And now I'd like to get into some acquisitions. And these acquisitions were not a part of do I use every yarn I buy. These are probably the acquisitions that will start off the next segment of that whenever it happens 6-7 months from now. And so the first yarn I have to show is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Raspberry Pink, and I have 3 skeins of this. And I got this off of the Amy Sure Makes website. So I test knit the Phoebe Top Mini for Amy previously, and Amy sends out a small gift card to all of her testers after the pattern is launched. And so with that, you're able to purchase anything on her site or her patterns with that gift card. I decided to purchase the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk yarn because I also saw that they were having a discount on some of these yarns. I think they were around maybe 20% off for the pure silk and the cotton merino. And I really like this raspberry pink color. So I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it, but it does feel really nice. It is 100% silk. And so maybe I'll also ask my mom if she wants something in this color, because I'm pretty sure that she likes summer fabrics, the ease of it. And also I think will like this color as well. Another exciting purchase I got is also because I was Knitfluenced at Knit Night, and a lady who came there, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but she was wearing these hair clips, and this is a claw clip with a yarn ball and 2 knitting needles, and it's the same on both sides. It's so cute, and she was wearing it. I asked her where it's from. She said it was from a place called Fuzzy Peach Co. So my friend Catherine and I, who also comes in at night, we decided to split the shipping cost on them. So we got 3 and she's taking 2, I'm taking 1. And so I'm really excited to have this. I think it's very cute. I wear claw clips all the time, so I'm very happy with this purchase. And the claw is very strong as well, so I'm really excited to use it. I haven't used it yet because I wanted to show it in this video before I put it on in my hair, but I really love everything from the color, the contrast, and just the whole fun of this claw clip. And for my last acquisition of this video, I was also with Maddie and June again yesterday. We were making stitch markers, progress keepers again. And on that note, if you see me at Flock or if you ever see me in real life, please let me know so that I could give you some stitch markers and progress keepers. I'll have a picture of what some of the ones I make look like, and so you can choose. I have them in little baggies. And saying that, Maddie brought me some flowers, sweet peas yesterday. Thank you, Maddie. So after making some stitch markers and progress keepers with Maddie and June, we decided to go to Tea Cozy Yarn Shop because I needed to pick up some yarn. And the yarn I needed to pick up were these, and this will be a gift knit for my younger sister. So first the yarn, I got 5 of these, which is the Tin Silk Mohair, Sandisgarn Tin Silk Mohair in the color 5023, as well as the color 4632 in the Sandisgarn Sunday. So I will be pairing these 2 purple yarns together to make my sister the Rainy Day Cardi by Sari Nordland. And this cardigan she specifically requested. She saw it on Instagram, and so she sent it to me. She specifically requested it. I'll be making the 4th size for her, and I'll be holding these 2 together. So I got 5 of each of these, and they had 5 of each of them in the same dye lot, so I was so happy. My sister sent me her color palette. She's a bright summer, or no, she's a bright winter. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but she wanted something that was purple or pink that was a little bit brighter, but also has a lot of white in it. And so I think this kind of captures it nicely. She says she really likes this combination, so I'm excited to get this started, and this will definitely be a priority knit for me. And that's where the plans portion of this video comes in, is that I think after I'm done making these socks, I will definitely be casting this on, because the plan is to have it done by her birthday, and this will be a birthday gift to her by mid-August. However, she is also going to Scandinavia in early September, so she said I could just have it done by end of August, early September. But ideally, I'd like to have this done ASAP, as I don't like having things looming, as we all know, and I'm very no-chill. So I picked up the yarn and I am so excited to start this because this combination is so beautiful. Before I let you go, I also want to mention one more plan that I have, one more knitting plan I have, and that is to make the Prospect Pullover by Tori Yu, which is a test knit that I signed up for, that I got in. And for that, I will be using Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the color Turn, as well as their hand-dyed Silk Cloud in the color Great Gray Owl, and I will be holding these together to make that sweater. And I wanted to mention it because I think I mentioned it in my do I use all the yarn I buy video, but I haven't mentioned it in previous plans. I might be misremembering, but this will also be a party knit because the deadline for this sweater is actually sooner than the deadline for the Finch sweater, which I also have signed up for as a test knit. However, the deadline for that one I think is in October, so it is not a party knit. So I will definitely be casting this on after I'm done the rainy day cardi. The deadline for this is mid-September, so I have some time for this one as well. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I wanted to talk about in today's video. I will have the information for both the Flower Paramel as well as the Tea Cozy Sock Make Along linked in the description below, and anything else I talk about. My next video will be up on August 2nd with everything I make in July, and in between then I'll probably have 1 or 2 more project vlogs depending on what I finish during that time. I hope you're having a great week, and if you can, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.